the Republican primary heating up here in the Low Country, voters are getting a closer look at the candidates hoping to represent South Carolina's 1st congressional district in Washington. Joining us today is Republican candidate Tyler Dykes. He's here to talk about his campaign, what's motivating his run, and the issues he says matter the most to families and businesses across our area. Tyler, thank you so much for being here with us today.
Thank you so much for having me.
Of course. So I just want to jump right in. So for viewers who may not know you, tell us a little bit about yourself and why you're running.
Absolutely. So I began my process in politics when I went briefly to Cornell University, the Ivy League up in New York, and I did about a semester of biomedical engineering before I dropped out because I couldn't handle just how left-wing that the school was.
Wow.
They had all these radical policies they cared more about than educating our students. After leaving, I then enlisted in the United States Marine Corps, actually.
Oh, wow.
And just right down the road, I trained at Parris Island, so practically right next door, and where I spent about a year active duty before going into the reserves. During that time in the reserves, I launched my own business where I helped people with technical support, and I scaled that business up to where I had 5 full-time employees working for me. And it was during that time where, of course, I had my business where I was getting everything off the ground that I was actually arrested for going into the Capitol on January 6th. There's a lot of misconceptions about that day. They say that I was violent, that I'm an extremist, and all this other stuff. It's simply not true. It was deliberately set up by the police that day. They opened the doors from the inside. They could have kept them magnetically closed. They didn't. They opened the doors and just let people walk right in. After I was arrested, of course, I ended up being on pretrial release for about a year before going to federal prison for 4 months when I received my pardon from President Trump.
Gotcha.
Since then, I had a lot of opportunities to be able to speak to people, and I was told that they really liked my voice, what I had to say, and what I was fighting for. And so from these different places that I've been to and I've spoken at as a January 6th pardoned patriot, that is when I began to decide I want to make a difference and do things the right way by running for office.
Thank you so much for sharing that with our viewers. I think that's very important for people to know. What's specifically your connection to the Low Country, and why is this community important to you?
It is so important. I have not been born in South Carolina. I am actually originally from the Charlotte area of
Interesting,
North Carolina.
same.
Really?
Yeah, Charlotte, North Carolina.
Awesome.
That's where I'm from.
Yeah. And so I grew up there in that area, and then when I enlisted in the Marines and while I was active duty for a year, my parents actually retired to the Low Country area, to this area. And so I finished my year of active duty when I went into the reserves, and then I no longer was able to stay in the barracks, of course. So I reached out to my parents and said, hey, I know I'm in my 20s now, can I just briefly move back in? And they said, sure, no problem. And so I went into the Low Country area and I just fell in love.
So what are some of the issues you see in this area, and how would you address those issues?
The 2 biggest issues for this area, I would say, are the ridiculous cost of living going up and up and up, and mass immigration, both legal and illegal, is both huge issues. We are bankrupting our own children, taking away their futures through this ridiculous inflation, through the job price, or the job market is not rising with productivity, and all these other things economically are happening. And so that is a huge issue for this area. As a result, of course, a lot of people that are local end up leaving because it's so expensive here especially. And then, of course, a big part of that is immigration. We have a lot of people that are coming here. But even if every single one of them is a good and honest person who never commits a crime besides coming here illegally, they're still contributing to the economic issues because the more people competing for a limited amount of jobs creates the employers pay less. And so that is a huge and leading impact for why so many people here are struggling. And so I think we need to impact both of those things. We need to lower a lot of the business regulations, lower a lot of the taxes, and then pair that with deportations, with financial efforts to remove a lot of these people that are here. And if we do both, then we'll make life better for the average American in our area.
Gotcha. So, a lot of times when people hear Congress, it's very distant, it's all the way in Washington. What does this job actually mean for families here at home?
This is such an important position because once you get to the House of Representatives, that is where you can make a difference, pass bills, and meet with all of the different kind of people in Washington to get things done. And so, as a member of the House of Representatives, you represent your area and the interests of the people of your area in the most important area of the land, Washington, D.C., where the decisions are made.
It's a big job.
It is big. It is a big job. And you have to be working in Washington. You have to be where the power is in order to make a difference. If you want to get federal funding for infrastructure, it has to be through Washington. If you want to have an increase in military pay for the military bases in the area, it has to be through Washington. There's a lot of state issues and a lot of state laws you can pass to protect our coastline, to stop a lot of the environmental destruction. But at the same time, you can also do the same thing at the federal level as well, and pass to have additional protections for the land, additional protections for the people. And so that is really how you manage to get things done, is in the halls of Washington. And that's why its position is so important.
How can viewers find you if they want to learn about your policies and what you want to do?
The best way to go is to the website, votetylersc.com.
Perfect.
And that is the best way you can go. I have my platform, all of the beliefs that I have on there. I have way more detail than most other people's political websites. And so that is where you can find most of your questions I'm sure you have about me.
Awesome. Well, you heard it right here. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you. We'll be back right after this.